Now before we start with the workout, I want to explain the method behind it. We'll be using a shape that almost everyone is using, and it's the A minor shape starting on the 12th fret of the E string, which is the 5th of the chord and goes like this. So on the high E string, we just have 1 second note, and from there it's basically just one note per string until we land on the root note, which is the 12th fret of the A string. After that, we play one more note on the A string before finishing on the 8th fret of the low E string. That's our last note in the arpeggio. And that's the shape we're going to use. I prefer this version of the shape because it's a little bit easier for the fretting hand, even though it is slightly more challenging for the picking hand because of those two notes on the A string. But in most cases, this shape works better in my personal opinion, also because this E on the 12th fret of the low E string usually sounds a little muddy and is hard to control when it comes to muting, and you really don't want any unnecessary string noise. Throughout the workout, we'll be doing both directions, ascending and descending, on every single exercise. Now the first exercise starts on the 12th fret, as I already mentioned, and ends on the root note at the 10th fret of the B string. Play that until it feels natural to you and make sure each repetition is clean and in time. Go for the perfect execution every single time you play it. That's very important. Otherwise, it will be really hard to make any progress. Also from my experience, if you really focus 100% on the exercise, 16 repetitions should be enough before moving on to the next one. And if you don't get something at first, because of the tempo or the timing or whatever, don't worry, just pause the video, analyze your playing. You can even record yourself, then make sure to fix your issue and then just come back again and finish the rest of the workout from there. With each new exercise, we will be adding one more note to the shape to finally be able to play the whole shape in tempo. So I've adjusted the tempo for each step so the actual note spacing always stays the same. So for the second exercise, for example, we switch to 16th note triplets. Then for the third, we go back to regular 16th notes as we add another note, and so on, until we reach the lowest string or the last note of the shape. And yes, as you can see in the transcription, I like to pick every note when I sweep. Not always, but most of the time, because I want every single note to sound exactly the same with the same amount of attack. That gives me a more percussive sound, but that's really just an artistic choice. That's just how I want my music or playing to sound like. So you can actually use hammer-ons or pull-offs if that's the sound you're looking for. And if you can do both, that's even better. In the end, I think the most important thing is to serve the music and your musical vision, basically. So whatever fits best in the musical context really is the best choice. Let me know in the comments how far you get with these exercises and what your sweep picking approach usually looks like. And if you were able to play through all of the exercises, I'd love to hear your experience on that. And as always, I recommend practicing at a tempo that feels good to you. If you want to practice it in different tempos, you can get the tabs and guitar profiles directly from my Patreon page. You can also find a lot more exercises and tutorials there. The link is in the description. All right, let's get started.